This is Boxing Tickets, and we are delighted to be joined for the first time in 2024 with the BUA Celtic light heavyweight champion Emmet Brennan. How are you, Emmet?
Oh, good. Yeah, getting ready 3 weeks out from the next fight in New York. So, deep into training camp, 2 tough weeks left, and then we'll do a week taper. I'm actually going to New York tonight, so I'm flying out there 3 weeks in advance just to one, sell tickets, two, acclimatise a little bit, and three, just finish off a good training camp.
It's obviously since you made your debut in July of last year, you had this sort of roadmap planned out, and obviously getting over to New York to fight. It's sort of going perfect for you so far. I mean, obviously you're two fights in, you're the Celtic champion, you fought in the Katie Taylor card, you fought Belfast, Dublin, and now New York. What could be better as a pro boxer?
Yeah, like obviously I would have, as you said, I made me debut last July. I would have liked an extra fight or two in the first 6 to 7 months, but that is what it is. I'm ticking off boxes. I said I wanted to be the Celtic champion within a fight or two. That happened. I said I wanted to fight in New York in the first year. That's happening. So, um, not a lot of people that careers go to plan because we all have an idea in our head where we want to go with our career. But so far for me, things are going great. It's a dream of mine to fight in New York. I would have rather to be fighting in Madison Square Garden, but we're fighting in a place called Sony Hall. Again, it's New York. You talked previously with yourself before we start recording. There's not much journeyman over in America, so no matter who you're fighting, you're going to be in a fight. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's I guess not the blow smoke up. Obviously, Darren Barker's behind, but obviously I know I've been slating my last couple of weeks for falling off the stage in Belfast. But it's I guess it's a perfect setup for you. Obviously, Darren was a boxer and everything else himself, so he knows exactly the emotions and the feelings that you're having. And I want to be on this. I want to be on this. I want to be on this, and it's working out perfect for you.
Yeah, look, we're very similar in personalities. We're very similar in the way we go about things. So it's probably a match made in heaven for both with him managing me and me having him to manage me. Everything's working out perfect. We've set out like a little bit of a roadmap, and there's been not many bumps in the road so far, bar the show getting pulled in September. Everything else has really gone to plan. And because he has a good reputation in the sport, when he goes to promote or he goes to a manager or a matchmaker to try make fights, more times than not they listen to him and they give him the opportunities because you know as well as I know, not everyone's a good person in this sport, but he is one of the best people in the sport. So he's well respected. With that respect, he can get me opportunities that maybe other people can't.
And I guess going back, obviously, like we're a couple of months, obviously now since obviously your fight with Jimmy Morrissey at the Three Arena. Like, how many times have you sort of watched the fight back and things like that? Like, it wasn't one of them, it wasn't one of them fights. Sometimes you can get in a before the bell sort of section where it's all one sided. Obviously, Jamie did obviously had moments and stuff in the fight, but like. Have you watched it back many times? Do you still just sort of pinch yourself? You've been on a Katie Taylor card.
Yeah, like I've looked at it back. The first thing I nearly do was look at the fight back, looking for what mistakes I made and what I could have done better. That's what I do straight away. I strip the fight back and see how I can improve. And Jamie played his part on that. I can remember saying to Eddie Hearn during the week of fight week, I was like, look, you are making a big mistake putting this fight on before the bell. Now, obviously, who am I to win and ask kind of ground the main card? But that's what I was sort of edging that because I knew Jamie was going to come to fight. I knew I was going to fight, and I knew it was probably, if you're looking in terms of excitement and back and forth and toe to toe, bar Katie's fight, it probably was one of the better fights on the card. So, that's why I was saying to Eddie, don't have her on before the bell because it was going to be exciting. But yeah, look, it was a dream come true. From the Olympics, I sort of took the Olympic Games for granted. I knew going into this fight and this occasion of being on Katie's undercard in the Tree Arena that I wasn't going to take it for granted. I was going to take in the atmosphere. I wasn't going to let it get to me because I still had a job to do, but it couldn't have really gone much better. You got the 8 rounds in and you got to stop it. You win a title in your second fight. So it was a pinch me moment. But like everything else, they come and go and you just have to build for better things.
It's I guess when that adrenaline obviously come off afterwards, you're sort of going, and I know what you're like, and you're sort of going, right, Darren, where's the next fight? It's kind of
Yeah.
fight someone in the car park here, sort of, I'm ready to go again. I guess in some ways, like Thomas Carty, obviously when he fought in the first 3 arena card, he's supposed to be on before the bell, and then a fight fell through. I think it was Terry Harper's fight had fallen off the card overnight, so he getting pushed up to the main card, and then they realized how much obviously the younger generation of sort of fighters coming through had that appeal. Obviously, Eddie Hearn's seen that now with you, obviously on a before the bell section. So you probably nearly say you're a shoe in for the main card the next time.
Yeah, as I said, if you're looking at that last show and you're looking in terms of excitement, on the undercard, it probably was the most exciting fight. Now, you're getting that with me every single fight because that's my style. I go forward. Like what I said to Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith before that fight, it was going to be one of the better fights on the card. I wasn't lying to them or trying to I was trying to bump myself up the card, but I was just being honest in my assessment. Same time around when I come on to the next show, I'm going for the stoppage. I'm looking to be in good fights and I'm looking to bring that entertainment because it's professional boxing. It's about getting bums on seats and it's about having people there enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying what's in front of them. Like, you would imagine, judging off the last performance, that I will be on the main card next time. Yeah.
You're ticking sort of all the right boxes, obviously. For you sort of you would say like a promoter's dream. You talk the talk, you walk the walk, you sell tickets. You want to be involved in good fights and everything else. So like you're sort of that perfect sort of makeup, sort of where you're going like I think you nearly 1,000 tickets sold for that card. As well.
Yeah, we got 700 tickets sold for which obviously was very, very good. The occasion probably helped with that. So yeah, we were really happy how we done on tickets. We were happy how we done performance wise. Obviously, we would have liked to be higher up the card and getting a little bit more profile out of it. But yeah, like I'm looking to make a name for myself in this game, and I'm looking to do it quick. Take age aside, I'm at a level where I don't really need to be taking on this journeyman. Obviously, in 3 weeks, I'm fighting a lad that has 11 wins and 10 losses, but he was the best of the options that we got for this fight. As I said, small hall show. You're not really going to, the money isn't there or the finances aren't there to bring in a top prospect for the next fight. So, I am looking to make a mark in the sport. I'm looking to do it early. So when it comes back to Katie's undercard, probably in May, if we get on that, we're looking for the BOI title. We're looking to just push on again. Like this time, 12 months, I want to be in around European title level. To do that, I have to win the Irish title this summer.
It's definitely, I know you had obviously plans in place, kicking on already. Just obviously want to step aside from yourself a moment because obviously I done my last interview there with Tommy Hyde. Obviously, I forgot of another super middleweight in action. Obviously, someone you've shared obviously rounds with Paddy McCrory is in action in 10 days' time against Edgar
I'm
Berlanga in
actually
Orlando.
going to the fight.
You're going over to it?
Yeah, well, I'm in New York, so I'm gonna pop down to Orlando for 2 nights and have a look at it. Yeah, Paddy's one of the good guys in Irish boxing, so I'm over there supporting him. Even though he's in my weight, he's miles above where I am. I'm on the domestic scene, so yeah, you want to see him do well. You want to see him getting rewarded for the chances that he's after taking over the last few years, and I can sort of role model my career a little bit off his. So yeah, I think he does have a chance of beating Berlanga. I don't think it's as one-sided as people are saying. Like Paddy can smack. He's quite elusive. I think Berlanga's a small bit overrated, although he is good. Obviously, if he doesn't get you out there and he doesn't stop you, he probably will have some trouble down the line himself. So I think it's a more even fight than what people are saying.
I guess with me, obviously being good friends with Paddy as well, I'm always going to be, you always be in that track. You're going, no matter what, the win's happening. But, I guess in the boxing industry as well, people know that Berlanga can be a bit chinny and things like that. And as you know from obviously sparring Paddy as well, he can bang with both hands. So, like, you only need to land one flush in the chin, and Berlanga could be sleeping for a week.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like he's a good boxer as well. Like sound boxing skills, Paddy McCrory. So you can't really go into a fight hoping that you're gonna land the punch and knock him out. I'm sure he's gonna go in there with a game plan to beat him. And as I said, like Berlanga probably is slight favourite in my mind, but not the way people are thinking. I think Paddy does have a live chance of winning the fight, whether it be a stoppage or whether it be on points. I don't think he's completely out of his depth, not at all. I think he's, as I said, I think it's maybe 60-40 in favour of Berlanga, but Paddy does have a good live chance in this fight.
He's obviously got a good record fighting away from Ireland as well. Obviously, he's 2 fights away from Ireland, 2 stoppage wins, obviously in England and Germany. So if he keeps that trend going and sparks Berlanga out in Orlando, he's definitely put himself in the contention for a world title fight.
Yeah, and momentum is a big thing in boxing. Like you look at Paddy, he's been excellent in his last few fights. He's got real momentum. He's got some good stoppage wins. His last win there in the fail was very good. And then you look at Berlanga, although he's winning, he's not as impressive as what he used to be. And there could be a small bit of self-doubt there. Going in against a big puncher like Paddy, although the Americans like to put on this big confident approach, I'm sure there could be a few doubts there. So momentum is a massive thing in boxing, and it could sway in Paddy's way.
And there's my cat's giving her opinion there on the fight as well. It obviously, I guess next week starts like sort of in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Quite a lot of obviously Irish fighters are fighting in America. Obviously, you're Paddy next week. You obviously yourself in 3 weeks' time. Obviously, another one that probably maybe catch your eye is Tommy Hyde and Craig McCarthy are obviously fighting for the BUA Celtic super middleweight title, and Kevin Cronin's obviously fighting down in America as well. So it seems to be, I guess, St. Patrick's and everything else in March. Quite a lot of Irish fighters are having a fight in America.
Yeah, it's great. Not only that, for me, it's great that there's other super middleweights fighting. Now my next fight is at light heavyweight. This is going to be my last fight at light heavyweight before we get down to super middleweight. I make super middleweight at a breeze. It's not hard for me to make, but unless you're fighting for a super middleweight title, there's no point in making the weight. So yeah, it's great for me to see 3 other super middleweights fighting within a week of mine. So that gives you options going forward. Again, we're hoping it's for the Katie Taylor undercard, but there's 3 options there for that. As I mentioned to you previously, Kevin Cronin would probably be the most realistic for that. Mick is now managing him. Mick has good connections with Matchroom. Darren obviously has good connections with Matchroom. I'm sure Mick is going to want to get Kevin Cronin the best opportunities he can get him. That's the whole point of managing him. So I would imagine that is probably the most realistic for the Katie undercard. But there's other options there. There's other good lads there. There's other lads fighting at my way, fighting for titles. So what it means going forward is it's very, very easy to make all Irish fights. They're not hard to make, especially if the likes of big shows and that are starting to come back to Ireland. So yeah, we're very lucky to have each other at the same time.
It's probably, I would say, it's probably one of the most eye-appealing, obviously, or eye-catching sort of divisions, and has been sort of building up for quite a while. Obviously, there was like 3 or 4, and you know what it's like, when you have more than a couple of fighters at one weight, people start dreaming of these, Super 6, Super 8 sort of style tournaments on a domestic level, and that could have been easily done, a year or so ago. And I guess for you, in a way, you sort of come in at a time when all these domestic fights were happening. I think there was four domestic fights in the super middleweight division last year. Obviously, Cronin Cronin and Morrissey twice. You'd obviously yourself with Morrissey, and then you Graham McCormick and Craig McCarthy fighting as well. So you had four pretty much super middleweight fights all within the space of 9 months.
Yeah, and as I said there, like, we're lucky to be in an area where we have each other. We all back ourselves and probably all confident that we're the best in the way. So now is the time to prove that and fight each other. There's no if you're in this sport, you're in it to be the best. You're not in it to just take part. So it's about for all of us now to step up and fight each other. Obviously, myself and Jamie have done that. Jamie and Kevin have done it. Tommy and Craig are doing it now themselves. So it is great to see, because there could be the other side of the coin where we're all here, we're all in the same weight, and we're not fighting each other. We're proving that we are fighting each other, which is great to see. It can only bring on Irish boxing. It can only make a bigger profile for all of us. And yeah, it's good to see, because we've been starved of it in this country for so long. Now, a bit of luck that you have other weights that are in the same thing where all the people are fighting each other, because we're not making a lot of money out of the sport anyway. We might as well try to capitalise on what we have.
It's, I guess it's, when you have a division sort of like we usually in, and you can make domestic fights, it sort of says the other, other weight class and things like that. It's okay to take fights. It's okay for somebody to have a defeat. It's like a defeat's not a defining option. It's like you
Yeah,
can lose and still come back and still get the where you were previous. For some people previously, if they were fighting journeyman sort of level, they're not really challenging themselves, so they can paper over a loss very quickly, but at least they can know their level they're at.
yeah, 100%. Like, you look at Jamie Morrissey there, he obviously lost his last fight to myself, but he probably learned more in that fight, fighting in the Tree Arena. And he's probably got paid more in that fight than he'd done his previous 6 fights. So he's learned more in a loss and probably earned more in a loss than he did in his whole boxing career. So a loss doesn't define your career. You can come back from it. You can come again. You can go back and train harder and try to get better, and wherever you have to do to get better. Again, there's the other side of the coin where you eventually go above domestic level and you're pushing on to the European route, or you're pushing on to the world route. So it's not about staying there for too long either. Having a few fights at domestic level, getting 2 or 3 wins there, and then pushing on. So for myself, I would like to get one Irish lad in May, then possibly fight another Irish lad again, probably mid to the end of the summer. And then I'll probably move on to European title route. That would be my plan. And once you go that route, you're not saying you're bigger than the domestic scene. You just have to move on, and you have to go on for bigger and better things. But until you actually do it on the domestic scene, you can't just bypass and go straight for the European route. And again, you're getting experience from that. You're doing the rounds. Like, I've done 8 rounds in the last fight. I know I got the stoppage in the last round, but you still banked 8 rounds. That's experience, and you have that in the back of your head going into the next fight. This fight I have in 3 weeks will be another 8-rounder, and I'm sure it'll go the 8 rounds. Then it'll be fight for the BUI title in May. That'll be a 10-rounder. Hopefully another 10-rounder in the summer. So you're banking rounds and you're banking experience, and that's what you need to get to the top. You need that experience in your back pocket. You need to have that confidence in the back of your head that you can do that come fight night.
There's obviously now you have a stoppage in the record, and obviously saying that you were going to stop, Jamie and everything else. Does that instill more confidence in you to know that, yes, the smaller gloves and everything else from what it was in the amateurs, but you can do damage now to people where it's one of them where people go, I'm going to knock you out, blah blah blah, and then it doesn't happen. You've actually done what you said you were going to do. So does that instill more belief in you to go, I can actually hurt people in these gloves and stop them from fighting?
Yeah, he was one tough cookie. He was tough as they come, Jamie Morrissey. Fair play to him. And he would have gone to the end if the tail wasn't thrown in. So hats off to him. But I remember going into that last round, I had told Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith, I says, if this goes into the last round, I'm getting him out of there. And I remember I got in the corner going out for the last round and just thinking to myself, oh, you have to get this fella out of here. That's why I went for it. I had to go for it. I had no choice. You can't promise that you're going to stop someone and not do it. I know a lot of people talk stuff before fights, but I speak the truth. I genuinely knew I had the capability of stopping Jamie, and I thought I was going to stop him. Again, a very, very tough customer that would have gone till the end if the towel wasn't thrown in. And it's lucky that he has a good team around him, because he could have taken one or two big smacks there that he didn't need to take. And the same again with the rest of the lads that sit up a middleweight division. I believe I can stop all of them on the domestic scene. I do believe that. And it's not being big-headed. It's not talking bad about them. It's what I genuinely believe. Like, with Jamie, no bad blood. With the rest of the lads, no bad blood. We're probably lucky as well in the division that we all seem to be sound, good people. There's no people with big egos there, but I do think I have the capability of stopping them.
That's a pretty much the accurate way of sort of saying things. Like, you have to say what you have to say. It's in your own head, your own belief. But obviously, everybody else is going to be similar in the respect that they don't need to don't need to badmouth, but they can have confidence.
Yeah, I have confidence that I can stop every single one of them. But look, again, it's not personal. They're all good lads. Like Kevin Cronin seems like a good lad. Tommy and Craig, they seem like good lads. Jamie Morrissey, a sound lad that had the self-belief that he could beat me. He came to win that fight. He didn't come to sit down. He didn't come to let the occasion get the better of him. And he spoke about before that he did believe he was going to beat me. And look, hats off to him, because you want the best version of whoever you're fighting coming to the fight. And that's what we got in November. And that's what hopefully we'll get in May. But for me, I have something else. I have to get victory now in 3 weeks. That could, if you don't get victory and you don't look good, that could put a stumbling block for me for everything else.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously, for anybody that's not aware, you're back in action on the 7th of March at the Solihull, New York, and you're taking on Devon Lee. I think that's probably one of these ones, Emma, as you know, sometimes you look at a name and you're going, how do you pronounce that? That sounds about right. Is there going to be like streaming wise, obviously, for everybody, obviously at home? I guess it's later at night and stuff like that. Do you know? I guess whenever you get out there to New York, you'll find out. But is there any options for people to watch the fight live?
Yeah, so it'll be shown live on boxinginsider.com. So they're the ones that's promoting the show. And they're going to show it live. It's in a place called Solihull. And as I said, your fella Devon Lee, he's 11 wins, 10 losses. He's probably coming into the journeyman stage of his career. He's lost 6 of his last 8. But the 2 victories he has in the last 8 fights, one was a knockout against a lad that was 12 and 13 and 0, and one was a knockout against a lad that was 17 and 0. So you can't take these people lightly. As I said, one bad performance and one loss here could really put a block on your career and stop you going on to what you want to do. So I don't take this fella lightly. He's been stopped once in 23 or 24 fights. All of his 6 of his 8 last fights were losses against people with big records like 15 and 16 and 0. He comes forward, he'll come to win the fight, but I will be too much for him, and I'm very confident of getting the victory. But it's not. He's ranked 77 on BoxRec, so he's no idiot either.
Definitely. I just having a look at the record there as well. But look, obviously, I know that you're packing and stuff like that to do, obviously, for heading out to New York. Obviously, it was good that we sort of timed this in the way before we got you out there, because obviously time difference and everything else. Like, I was speaking to Tommy Hyde on Sunday, and he was in LA, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was 4:30, I think, in here, and obviously in Belfast, and the sun was shining for him, and the rain was here for me. So at least we're in the same sort of continent. We've got the same sort of weather degree, you know.
Look, as I said for you, thanks for letting me get the word out and helping to try build a profile over in America. So it's going to be good for me. It's hopefully the start of 3 fights in New York this year. For anyone that's looking to buy tickets, get in touch with me through Instagram or social media. It's going to be a good night. I'm looking to put on a good performance, and as I said, like the last fight, this is going to set up bigger and better things for myself and my team.
Definitely. Well, Emmet, listen, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, safe traveling, obviously, to New York, and I'm sure we'll no doubt catch up whenever you get back to Ireland. Obviously, once you move to 3-0.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
Not a problem, Emmet. Cheers. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.